Chapter 18. Dinner. James didn't want to get nabbed sneaking back onto the school bus, but that left him at the mercy of a local bus service that ran once an hour and only got within 4 kilometres of Corbin Copse. He walked a couple of kilometres from the adjacent village before he got lucky and was picked up by one of the elderly protesters. Even so, it was nearly 6 when James came through the door and he expected a blasting from Zara. But she wasn't back from campus, and instead he found Ryan and Lauren working on the evening meal in the kitchen. Ryan was telling some of his old Zebra 84 anecdotes, and Lauren lapped them up as she chopped onions and dropped them into sizzling oil. "I called your mobile about 6 times, Lauren said. "Miss Hunter came to my class and asked if I knew why you weren't in PE. The truth was obvious, so James didn't even attempt a lie. "My head was killing me, so I bunked it." "Zara's gonna love you. You're getting a letter home, and you've got to go to the head of year's office tomorrow." "Fabulous," James said wearily, as he slumped at the dining table. "Mind you, with a bit of luck, I'll get suspended for a few days." "What about your mobile?" Lauren asked. "It was panic stations getting ready this morning," James said. "I think it's still upstairs in my jeans from last night." "We need to talk to Zara, but we can't get through," Lauren explained. "What's up?" Ryan took over. "I got a call from one of my few sympathizers in the Alliance. Anna and I go way back, even before Zebra 84. She's the one I was helping out with the buffet at the university last night," Lauren explained. James nodded. "I remember. Nice friendly lady." "So, Anna called me this morning," Ryan continued. "The vast majority of experiments at Malaric are on mice, rats, and rabbits. But they're still using a couple of hundred dogs per month, and the Alliance has spent years looking for where they're bred. Anna received a tip-off about a kennel down in Trowbridge, 30 miles south of here." "Is the information solid?" James asked. Ryan nodded. "She sent people down there to sniff around, and it looks real enough. They have cages and sheds where they breed dogs for pets, but there's a special kennel where pups are grown in isolation for experimentation." "Why in isolation?" James asked. "Scientists don't want puppies that have been rolling around on the grass picking up diseases and parasites that might spoil their experiments. They want dogs that are separated from their mothers at birth and kept in single cages. Anna is leading a mission to rescue as many of the dogs as possible, and it's on for tonight," Lauren explained, as she added chopped courgettes to the pan of onions. "Turn the heat down or they'll burn," Ryan said urgently. "The thing is, I've been invited along, but I really need Zara's say-so before I can go along with something like this." "Why?" James asked. Ryan suddenly sounded narked. "Zara and I had a chat last night, and she made it clear that I'd find myself back in prison if I stepped out of line." "When did you last ring Zara?" James asked. "Just before you got in the door," Lauren said. "I've left her loads of voicemails." "Did you try speaking to someone on the switchboard in mission preparation?" "Yes," Lauren sighed. "They said Zara couldn't be disturbed unless we had an emergency. I asked if there was anyone other than Zara who knew about our mission. The dude asked around, but nobody knew a thing." "Well, it's down to us then," James said. "What does Kyle say?" "He's not here," Lauren said. "Tom came over in his MG after school, and they've gone into town for a curry." "Great," James tutted, realizing that he couldn't ring Kyle to discuss the mission while he was with Tom. "The decision's down to us then. And if you ask me, Ryan, we want you as involved in the Alliance as possible." "That's what I said," Lauren nodded, as she grabbed 3 dinner plates out of the cupboard. Meanwhile, Ryan was pulling a nut roast out of the oven. But one of us should go with you, James said. You might meet some interesting activists. Ryan and Lauren both looked surprised at this suggestion. I can't just turn up with a kid in tow, he said. Suppose you're right, James said, feeling a little stupid. Just thinking out loud. It would be good though, Lauren said. Anna's a really nice person, and she's got 4 daughters. Maybe you could say that Zara's away and I'm too young to be left on my own. Then I could sleep in the car or something. Ryan thought for a second as he split the nut roast between 3 plates. Or, he said, waggling his finger excitedly, do you like dogs, Lauren? Lauren smiled. I love dogs. I've always wanted one when I was little, but you weren't allowed them around our flats. Not that it stopped all the local villains from owning Rottweilers and pit bulls, James added. Right, Ryan grinned. Then I've got a way for Lauren to come along and help out. Are you both sure this is going to be okay with Zara? I'll take responsibility, James said. It's bloody ridiculous, Zara disappearing like this in the middle of a mission. What's she playing at? Don't knock her until you know why, Lauren said sharply. For all we know, there's an emergency on another mission or something. Meanwhile, Ryan had grabbed his mobile. Anna, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that I'm in for tonight if you still want me. The bad news is that Zara's not around, and I've got a little childcare problem. How would you feel about having young Lauren as an extra pair of hands at the stables? Zara had the only car, so Ryan called a minicab which took them on the 15-kilometre trip to a multi-storey car park in the centre of Bristol. They headed up to the 5th floor, using a concrete staircase that reeked of urine, then along a corridor where Ryan knocked on a door with sanitation written on it. It was opened by a dreadlocked man called Lou, and they joined him in a gloomy room, with mops standing in metal buckets along one wall and shelves stacked with cleaning solutions. You know the rules, Lou said. Everyone has to be checked for bugs. I made the rules, Ryan grinned, as he was patted down. Next, he pulled his t-shirt off, stepped out of his trainers and dropped his trousers down to his ankles. Once Lou finished inspecting Ryan's trainers, he looked uneasily at Lauren. I have to do the same for the little lady, he said, clearly uncomfortable at the idea of asking an 11-year-old to strip off in front of him. It's okay, Lauren smiled, as she pulled her t-shirt over her head. Ryan had told her not to bring her mobile phone, and all she had in her pockets were door keys and a few pounds in change. Once the formalities were over, Ryan and Lou pulled each other into a hug. Long time no see, Lou grinned. Sorry I didn't visit you inside, but I've never been one for showing my face. Don't worry about that, Ryan said. I appreciate people making the effort, but to be honest, the company only made me feel worse. Lauren was intrigued by Lou as she slid her trainers back on. She thought she'd seen surveillance pictures of all Ryan's close associates, but this distinctive black man would have stuck out, and she'd definitely never seen a picture of him. They headed back out into the car park and found a shabby Vauxhall Astra. Ryan joined Lou in the front and Lauren slid in the back. Cars are a problem nowadays, Lou explained as he backed out of the parking spot. There's speed cameras everywhere that can read your number plate. We never go anywhere near a raid in our own cars. I pick up cheap, nondescript motors at auctions and put false plates on them. Ryan nodded. Sounds expensive. It is that. I know you're no fan of Madeline Lang, but we're never left wanting for money. And as the police get their hands on better surveillance technology, our operations get more expensive. We're slowly turning into a police state, Ryan said. You said it, Lou nodded, as the car pulled out of the multi-story and into daylight. So, you and Anna keep it tight? Very tight, Lou said. It's basically us two and a few others from the old days. We're part of the Alliance, but we keep out of anything that takes place within 5 clicks of Malaric and stick to special operations. The only people we use regularly, who you might not know, are Anna's eldest 2 daughters. I'm their godfather, as a matter of fact, Ryan grinned. If I had 2 pennies to rub together, I'd have brought them an 18th birthday present. I'm told you've got a nice cottage back at Corbin Copse. That's Zara's money talking. Her husband was something in the oil industry, and she got a juicy divorce settlement. Funny, Lou smiled. I never saw you settling into a house with kids and that. Me neither, Ryan said, as Lauren caught a glimpse of his face in the mirror. She could see how uncomfortable Ryan felt lying to his friend.